What is the no? One thing that will improve your health and help you lose weight. That one thing is sleep. Sleep and rest. Let's talk about it. You know, we think that if we just eat right and exercise, everything's gonna be great, right? And we know that that's not true, because if you eat right and exercise and you still have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, you're not losing weight. What else could it be? Could be stress. You could be overtraining. But most likely, it's the thing that we don't even think about, and that's sleep. So let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I did a live event. It was a 2-day event with about 500 people, and I was talking to them about nutrition, of course, and about physical activity. And at the end of the presentation, a woman in her early 20s stood up and she said, "Patrick, I have a question for you." She said, "I'm doing everything right. I eat healthy. I work out 5 or 6 days a week. My hormones are perfect, and I still can't lose weight. What am I missing?" And I looked at her and I said, "You look overtrained. When's the last time you took a day off?" And she said, "I don't take days off." And I said, "There's your problem. You need to take a day off." And so that really kind of hit home with all those 500 people that were there. They all started to think, am I taking too much? We always think that more is better, right? More protein, more cardio, more weightlifting, more salads, less bread, right? Less of this, more of that. But what does that do to our sleep? We have to realize that when we overtrain, when we do too much, it creates a tremendous amount of stress, which causes us to have poor sleep. So when we have poor sleep, our cortisol goes up. Cortisol is a stress hormone, but it also triggers hunger, and so now we're hungry all the time. And of course, you know, if you're going to eat more, you're going to gain weight. If you're trying to lose weight, that's the opposite of what you want. The next thing that happens is when you don't sleep enough, you have high blood pressure. When you have high blood pressure, you have strain on your heart. And so now you're going to have cardiovascular disease. And I've seen this over and over again in practice. People come in, they say, "Patrick, I have high blood pressure." And I say, "When's the last time you got a good night's sleep?" And they look at me like, "What do you mean?" And I say, "When's the last time you slept in late?" And they say, "I never sleep in late. I have to get up at 5 o'clock. I have to get up at 4:30. I have to be at work at 9 o'clock. Well, guess what? You're telling me that you're not sleeping enough. Your body is telling you that you're not sleeping enough, which is causing you to have high blood pressure, which is causing you to have a potential heart attack or a stroke. And the third thing that happens is you have insulin resistance. When you don't sleep, you're going to have insulin resistance, which now makes you fat. So it is very important to realize that sleep is probably one of the most powerful things that you can do to help your health, to help your weight. So here's the deal. Most people, when they go to bed, they still have stimulation from their phone. They're watching TV. They're looking at their computer. They're doing something that's stimulating their brain. And so the brain never gets a chance to calm down. And if you want to calm down your brain, turn off all the lights, go to bed, turn off your phone, period. Don't have it on airplane mode. Turn it off completely. No more stimulation. Okay, just relax. Take a few deep breaths. Think about how lucky you are to be alive. Think about your health. Visualize yourself being the healthiest person on the planet. Visualize yourself at your ideal weight. See yourself being active. See yourself being happy. And then you go to sleep. Sleep is when all the magic happens. You have to make sleep a priority. You know, sometimes people say, "Patrick, I gotta go to the gym. It's my priority." Really? If you want to make something a priority, it has to be non-negotiable. You have to put it in your calendar. You have to protect it like it's gold. Non-negotiable. All right, thanks for watching. Hey, before you go, if you're benefiting from any of my content, I would love to hear about your success story. please share it in the link down below.